We're going to start this hour with the search for the person who opened fire on a crowded subway train in Brooklyn. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm Netta Iranpour.
And I'm Dana Marie McNichol. Now, 10 people were shot yesterday morning. Thankfully, no one was killed, and police have now named a person of interest.
CBS's Naomi Ruckham is joining us live now, right outside that subway station in Brooklyn. With the very latest, you have an update here this morning. Good morning, good morning, Naomi.
Netta and Dana Marie, good morning. And we do have some breaking news that the person who police have been searching for since yesterday is now being called a suspect and no longer just a person of interest. The police are looking for this person. They still haven't seen him. His name is Frank James, 62 years old. And as they continue their search, there are still so many questions. But one piece of positive news, despite that gruesome video and the horrible photos that we all saw, no one was killed in this attack yesterday. Still, we are in the midst of a busy and tense commute in New York City, just one day after a mass shooting on a New York City train station. Police are looking for Frank James, who they say is a person of interest in the investigation of yesterday's shooting in a Brooklyn train station.
Recovered at that scene was a Glock 17 9mm handgun.
Also recovered a key that led them to this nearby U-Haul, which investigators say the 62-year-old had rented in Philadelphia.
We are endeavoring to locate him to determine his connection to the subway shooting, if any.
The attack happened during the morning rush hour, with commuters trapped inside a subway car. A man in a gas mask detonated smoke bombs and unloaded 33 shots, hitting 10 people. Good Samaritans put pressure on wounds and stayed with the injured until help arrived.
Coming up the stairs, I saw maybe a 16-year-old that was shot in the knee. You can clearly see the bullet.
Hampering the investigation, officials say the security camera feed at the station wasn't transmitting back to the NYPD.
We're attempting to retrieve whatever video that's possible.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams, at home with COVID-19, vowed to find the person responsible.
We will not surrender our city to the violent few.
James posted often on YouTube. Police called the videos concerning.
He mentions homelessness, he mentions New York, and he does mention Mayor Adams. And as a result of that, in an abundance of caution, we're going to tighten the mayor's security detail.
Police don't have any information yet about the gunman's motivation. And police believe that the shooter's gun actually jammed during the attack, and that's what prevented potentially even more bloodshed. Again, the mayor this morning calling that person of interest now a suspect, but also saying that he's not ruling out any potential changes to security here, which could include adding metal detectors. Netta and Dana Marie.
Naomi, thank you so much for that. And now I'm curious with that now suspect, what the search efforts are like. I mean, where are they searching for this person?
Well, they know that he has listed residences in both Wisconsin and Philadelphia. And Philadelphia is where that U-Haul van was initially rented, although it was found here in Brooklyn yesterday. So you can imagine police are checking out all of those places, in addition to looking at some of the video and pictures that people took on their own cell phones, because, again, there was no security footage from within the station itself because the camera was down. Guys?
Certainly a nationwide effort now. Naomi, thank you so much for that.
And turning to San Diego police and transit leaders who are also on high alert after that shooting. SDPD says there are no threats in our area, but they have stepped up patrols. MTS says it has 200 security officers making patrols and 10,000 security cameras on vehicles and at stations. They ask you to keep an eye out and call police if you see anything out of the ordinary.
This morning, we are following a major development in the long fight over sewage. As you know, it flows from Mexico across San Diego's coastline, and now both sides have reached a settlement.
CBS 8's Chris Groh is live in Imperial Beach this morning with a closer look at the latest twist. Good morning, Chris.
Yeah, good morning, Netta, Dana Marie. Look, we know that this is an issue, but it's a particular issue when it starts to rain. That's when we see that cross-border pollution really start to flow, especially across the Tijuana River and into the ocean and beaches that so many people enjoy, including here in IB, and leads to beach closures. In fact, it's estimated by the government that between the months of January and February, we saw more than 2 billion gallons of that sewage flow between the borders. So again, it remains an issue. In the settlement, the hope is that it will start to fast track a lot of the solutions that have been proposed in order to try to limit the amount of cross-border pollution that, of course, flows between Tijuana and our area. Now, this legal settlement was announced just yesterday. The lawsuit, though, the initial lawsuit was filed against the U.S. section of the International Boundary and Water Commission by several local cities like IB, San Diego, and Chula Vista. That agency is responsible for overseeing wastewater infrastructure to try to help prevent the cross-border contamination. Now, according to the settlement, the U.S. IBWC must complete a number of terms, like build another temporary sediment berm to intercept the cross-border water flow. They must also expand public outreach about its efforts on the issue and also assess the cost of trash removal in the Tijuana River flood control channel. The settlement agreement is pending implementation of the EPA's plan to commit $300 million in federal funding for projects aimed at reducing the cross-border pollution. That money was appropriated back in January of 2020 to construct infrastructure to reduce pollution, and the idea is, according to local leaders, that this settlement will help fast-track that money being used. Now, Mayor Sergio Medina has been involved in this battle for a long time. He was very emotional when CBS 8 spoke with him about this settlement.
Sorry, it's been a long time. I've gotten sick. My kids have gotten sick. Our lifeguards have gotten sick. Our city manager's gotten sick. Our city council's gotten sick. It's a big victory in the litigation. We have lots more to do.
And according to this settlement agreement, if the agency does not actually fulfill any of the terms that are listed in this legal settlement, that the cities actually have the right to renew their lawsuits. So it is putting the impetus on them to go ahead and fulfill their part of the agreement. To read more about the settlement, you can go to our website, cbs8.com, and click on that story link. Back to you.
Chris Groh, thank you so much for that update. And here's something we will be following very closely today. The man accused of breaking into that home in Tierra Santa and sexually assaulting a woman expected to appear in court. This was about midnight Saturday. Police say Demetrius Trussell tried to break into 2 other homes, and then they say Trussell entered a home on Viacha Drive, held a woman and her father at gunpoint. He surrendered after an officer opened fire. Nobody was hit, but yes, you see officers taking him out of that house now. Police do need your help finding a woman who mysteriously disappeared this week. Take a look at these photos right here. So this is Nicole Perret. She's 32 years old. Police say Perret didn't show up to pick up a family member at the airport on Monday. She also was not at her home in Pacific Beach. Her purse, however, was found in La Mesa. Perret's car has also been spotted in La Mesa and in Lemon Grove. If you have any information, please call San Diego Police.
Now turning to the war in Ukraine, President Joe Biden says Russia is committing genocide. This comes as U.S. investigates reports that Russia has used chemical agents. Now, in the meantime, Russian President Vladimir Putin says peace talks have hit a dead end. Putin says he'll win the war as 8 miles of convoy of Russian forces streams east. Now, Ukrainian family who made it to San Diego is feeling an outpouring of support from our community this morning. The father asked to remain anonymous, but he, his wife, and 4 young children crossed from Mexico into the U.S. on Saturday. A family friend posted to social media asking for donations, and she was blown away with the response. People have dropped off gift cards, toys, car seats, and so much more. So this morning, the family is very thankful.
We feel support because every second house in San Diego has a Ukrainian flag, and we feel that we are not alone. Yeah, Americans really support us, so this is very important.
There are many ways to help Ukrainians right now. We have several links on cbs8.com. You can click the help button to figure out how.
San Diegans always stepping up to show they care.
That's right. Yeah. Well, good morning to you. We're starting off the day. Hello, Netta. Hello, Dana Marie. Hello to you at home. We appreciate you being with us. If you're walking out the door right now, bring the jacket with you. It is a colder start to our Wednesday morning compared to both Monday and Tuesday, and that's because for the last couple mornings we did have a fair amount of cloud cover overhead. This morning, not so much. We're dealing with cooler temperatures and turn 35 right now. How about that in Ramona? For a spring morning, that's a rarity. 38 in Alpine, 37 in Julian, and 44 in Poway. As you walk out the door, you'll be able to peel off those layers going through the rest of the day, but keep in mind that 24-hour temperature change. If you feel it, well, you are not the only one. 13 degrees cooler right now than yesterday morning in Ramona, a 12-degree temperature difference in Alpine. So you've got double-digit changes really across the board thanks to the cooler trend this morning, the lack of clouds, but by the afternoon, we're actually going to be warmer than yesterday. So here's the thing, with those clear conditions, once that sun comes up, 6:20 or so about 10 minutes out from now, we'll see the clear skies help encourage that warm-up process. 66 along the coast, 68 inland. These temperatures are largely at average, if not a few degrees shy of average. Mountains and deserts have warmed up a nice amount compared to yesterday, with the low 80s for Borrego Springs and Ocotillo Wells, and mountains trending mainly in the mid-50s. Take a look. This is live outside. A little bit of haze out there along the horizon. Sunrise 6:21, and then we'll see that sunset closer to just beyond 7:15 tonight. Let's take a look at what's going on as far as traffic goes. Want to give you a mention just mainly around the Coronado Bridge area. This is where we're running into some difficulty. You can see how if you're headed north on the 5 from, say, the South Bay, you may run into some slightly slower speeds getting onto the Coronado Bridge, and then about mid-span, you'll run into those slower speeds as well, with speeds down to about the single digits once you get onto the island. So keep in mind you may want to plan for a few extra minutes on that morning commute if you're making your way over to the base. Beyond that, though, we are seeing mainly green on the screen. Should be able to head out at your normal speed.